Om. Om. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sairam to all of you. We welcome everyone to the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. And by Swami's grace, we'll continue the Gita Jnana Yajna another day. By the way, the other day I was listening to one of a great saintly man. He was talking about a Mahabharata. Says each time there are certain parvas you do, you are getting yajna. So each time we do this Thursday, every Thursday you are having one yajna. So I didn't do yajna. People don't. We are doing each Thursday when we do, or any other time also. Jnana, this is Gita Jnana Yajna. And Lord Krishna himself described there are many yajnas. One is the people they regularly put to the fire pit called Rudraya, Yajna, Chandi, Homa. And then they do this, you do the Bhota Yajna. Like here, you give some people give food to the ants, birds. So in our backyard in the morning, first I said, my God, they're eating away all my persimmons, this. And there is, without my knowledge, I'm helping Bhota Yajna. So whenever these animals, squirrels or birds, and they eat, instead of can say we are doing, willingly doing is good, but even when everything doing it, there is Bhota Yajna. And Dravya Yajna, going service, buying sandwiches, giving people blankets, whatever, that is Dravya Yajna. So then there's Pitru Yajna, thinking about your ancestors, parents, for why they gave birth to you, how you are grateful they send you education. That is Pitru Yajna. Just think about them, that itself is. But these two yajnas are the highest, Lord Krishna. One is Japa Yajna, repeating his name. It says, Yajnanam Japa Yajnosmi. And then highest is the Jnana Yajna. This is the Gita Jnana Yajna, where we talk about the teachings of God. Here we are lucky, it is the teachings of both Lord Krishna and our Swami Sai Krishna. So this is even a double delight. So it is good. So this is really a great good fortune to be continue to be able to do that. So you can say, anybody says how many yajnas you did, you can count this many yajnas, 100 or 200, how many yajnas you did. But we are not, but in Gita, whole thing is, it is selfless. We do it because we love to hear about God, not with the ulterior, but whether you like it or not, you get the results. Like Holy Mother Sharda Devi said, to Mother Japam, I do that, but sometimes I don't think about the deity. Says, will it get me benefit? If you think it is good, whether you don't even think, she gave the example, you go into jump into a pool, swimming pool or river, knowingly you or unknowingly you will get wet, right? Similarly, God's name, knowingly or unknowingly, if you do, it has its own benefit. If you know, then it is greater benefit. That is what Tyagaraja says, Telisi Rama Chintana Chayi. If you understand beautifully, recollect the name, his beauty, glory, and meaning, much better. But even otherwise, it good. So that is the goodness about the Gita Yajna. So we are today doing the chapter 19, which we started last week, and electronic version This is page 87, and here the hard copy, which is page 175. So, as I said, this chapter 19 doesn't correspond to the original Gita. There are 18 chapters in the original Gita, right? So there we finished the chapter 8, Akshara Parabrahma. Now Swami is discussing about chapter 9. That is called Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yogam. That means the knowledge of the royal secret. The God himself is telling it is not a secret, not only a secret, the royal secret. That means it will take the royal road to liberation. So that is so important, this chapter. And that too, it happens to be in the middle, ninth chapter. And the sloka also we talked about, sloka 22, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ejana. So, last couple of weeks, what Swami is telling is, and knowing the slokas is good, because there are 700, but more important is to know the meaning of the slokas. And more important than knowing the meaning is putting into practice. That is the whole thing. That is what will give the benefit. So he gave two clear examples, which is one is Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, how that scholar he goes on trying to explain the literal meaning, but he didn't really realize the inner meaning. So then the king said, "Hey, you didn't understand." But his wife, who is innocent lady, he said, "You didn't understand the real meaning." And then he understands. Then the king himself falls at his feet. That is what in life also, you don't understand, you go on favor for other people, you will be always like that. But if you are confident God is with you, nothing will happen, then everybody will come to you. That is why you need to have that God is the greatest and He is with me, then nothing else I don't need in the world. We should have that confidence. And another thing we talked about is parigraha. Last week, Swami gave the example. In chapter 6 and the shloka 10, there is a word called parigraha. So here, there, the whole chapter 6, people want to do about meditation, right? We all want to do meditation. Is particularly sometimes is a fashion to meditation. So, but real meditation, how to do, the Lord Krishna described. The whole chapter is about. The name is called Atma Samyama Yoga. So here, Swami wrote about meditation. What did he write? Dhyana Vahini. So if you want to read about how to do meditation, Dhyana Vahini, use the whole description. Here, chapter 6 in Gita, how should you sit? It on what ground is not too high, then you fall, not too low, and what should be your asana? How do you sit? How do you concentrate? How do you don't move? The whole thing he described that is where he says, really you want to do meditation? Yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. If you really person who want to do meditation, you can't eat too much, then you'll feel sleepy. Well, so instead of doing meditation, you'll be going on doing that, or you'll be in different samadhi. So you'll see that happens even when going talk. And if you eat too little, your hunger pain, my God, when is this going to end? So I have. So yuktahara, middle path, don't eat too much, don't eat too little. And the yukta swapnavabodhasya, he says, don't sleep too much, then you'll feel groggy, like you're intoxicated. That's not good. And don't sleep at all, sleep dead. Now, I get sometimes warning, sleep dead, but Swami will take care. So, if you don't, then your concentration and things goes down. So, if you have, so everything is there is beautifully separate. It's all practical things about food, about sleep, and there, one of the criteria for a person, spiritual person, is says he describes there, you should go in a quiet place, meditation. One solitary place, not a crowded place. If you want really, group meditation is okay, but real meditation in a quiet, solitary place. And you should be by yourself. Group meditation, but this is by yourself, he says. And you should have complete focus on God. Nirashi nirmamo, and he says about aparigraha. So you should not have too many desires. I want this, I want this. Aparigraha, whenever anybody gives for spiritual people, don't quickly accept things, gifts particularly, because there is where some sages they are very particular unless they are on live on alms, because their karma you have to do that unless you give in some way or other return for them, it is okay. But otherwise, you try to, as much as possible, a spiritual seeker to practice this aparigraha. Because Swami was telling these people who talk about Gita, Yajna, Gita, there's one of the important things Swami said, and they put a stage donation box and sell the video for $200 and speech for this much money. So we never saw anything being collected like that by Swami. People give on their own, that is different, by source, not by force. That is why in front of Ganesha temple, Swami in the beginning said, so no gifts accepted, so no donations, so like that. But say separately for the good project they do. So you should have aparigraha. That is one of the things. So, and we talked about that is not only taking things, don't take even credit what somebody else is due. You take, that is also parigraha. You are stealing somebody else's what they need to deserve. So that is what aparigraha is very, very important. And there, actually, some people are so strict. I always talk about Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Gospel of Sri Ram. He was embodiment of renunciation. He says two things he conquered, lust and greed, kamini, kanchana. So he never used to take money from anybody. This I don't want. That's why even. And then Vivekananda in the beginning, he was a young man, 19 years old. He says, really, this man means it or just he is faking it? So just he wanted to test him. He put some coins underneath his bed. Sri Ramakrishna jumped around saying as if some ants or something was crawling on him. He felt because there is so much renunciation. And one time there is a Marwadi, that means there is a businessman. He said, Thakurji, I know you do so much good work. No, I know you won't take money, but I will deposit on your name 10,000 rupees. Those days you are talking 1800s, 10,000 rupees, and you do whatever you want with that. You don't need to take. He says, no. If it is there, my mind will be thinking, oh, the money is there, whether it is getting interest or not, what will happen to it. So my mind, I don't want my mind want to be only on Mother Kali, not in these things. So he refused. In those days, 10,000 rupees is recorded. My father wrote a beautiful poem on that incident. So completely not have that. And even if you read Shirdi Satcharita, Shirdi Baba, not only he practiced, anybody close to him, he emphasized. There was a one devotee called Malsapati. He was a very poor man. He barely things to eat and drink. He was the great devotee of Shirdi Baba. So one time somebody said, no, just I want to give him because his size is so poor. But Shirdi Baba made sure, no, you cannot take from him. Just see, I want you to remain like this poor and just day-to-day living, because it is an obstacle for your spiritual progress. So Shirdi Baba was very particular, and Sri Ramakrishna. So aparigraha, we all need to practice as much as possible. So that is one aspect. Another thing is in these things as he was Swami was talking about, you need to watch certain disciplines when you are doing the meditation. So we already said being solitary place, think controlling the body, mind, and senses. That is the most important, because whatever we do, it is Swami gave example beautifully, like take a pot of full of water somebody took. On the way, by the time they reached, it was empty because there was holes. Similarly, all these senses, five jnanendriyas, five karmendriyas, they are like holes. Can so if you let them loose, all the sadhana we do will go away. So it's important. You need to have that. That's why Lord Krishna says, Sanniyam Indriya Gramo Sarvatra Samabuddhaya. To have complete mastery of senses. But at least we need to go in that direction. How whatever you see about God, whatever you talk about God, whatever you hear about God, then automatically the senses won't be pulled in other directions because they are all already occupied. seeing good things, hearing good things, talking about good things. So this is what we discussed. Now we can continue on the page 175.
Sairam. The teachings of the Gita do not get the respect that the book gets. Thousands of people, when they see the sacred books, Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavata, Bharata, etc., bow their heads, press them to their eyes, place them on their heads, on their beads, keep them on a special seat in the shrine, and reverentially placing a few flowers on them, they sit with closed eyes and with teardrops rolling down their cheeks, fall prostrate before the books, and rise very much satisfied with themselves. All that reverence is for a stack of paper, not for the contents of the books, the subjects they deal with. What the head must carry is not the weight of the paper, but the message contained thereon. Attach value not to the book, but to the subject. Revere not the volume, but the matter expounded therein. Install it not on the altar, but in the heart. For it is only then that the authority of the Gita will be honored steadily at all times. The mind will not be cleansed of egoism or like evils by all this outward reverence. Learning by rote, offering worship in the shrine room, holding on the head, pressing on the eyes, etc. Let the message enter the heart, put into practice, and taste the joy that comes therefrom. That is the way of honoring the Gita. The tastiest dish can never quell your hunger if you place it on the head or press it to your eye or fall prostrate before it. The Gita, too, is on par with this. The Gita is a tasty dish, full of the sweet ingredients of bhakti, jnana, vairagya. Eat it, drink it. One morsel is enough. The karma and hungry man does not need all the grain that is harvested. A handful of rice suffices. The thirsty man need not drink the Godavari dry. A glass of water is enough. He who has hunger for God need not consume the entire Gita. It can be quenched by practicing even one shloka. A box of matches has many sticks. If you want to light a fire, you need strike only one. You can nurture the little flame into a huge fire with care and diligence. The entire stalk of sticks need not be struck. There are 700 sticks in the Gita. Each one is a stick from which you can light the flame of jnana. Strike one on the stone of experience. That is enough. Shall I stop there?
Yeah.
Go on?
You can stop there, or you can even continue.
Okay. I found this passage to be very powerful when
Before
I was...
you go, I think I want to say Godavari. I know some of the people in Andhra people, we know what is Godavari.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's a river.
But other people who are from other places in India, they may not know. Godavari is a holy river like Ganges or Yamuna or Kaveri. So the Swami is giving the example of the Godavari means Godavari river.
So it just kind of going through what Bhagawan was writing here, I think we have a tendency to put these very dogmatic practices into place. And, a lot of people will do pradakshinas and will do certain things, these very specific rituals with the intent of a result coming out of it. I know, in Puttaparthi, sometimes people will do pradshanas around the Ganesh gate because there is an intention with that. I remember in Hyderabad, there was a temple for Lord Vishnu. I think they called it the Visa Vishnu because everybody that went to that temple and did pradshanas got their visa to come here. So there was a specific intention with everything. And when you listen to many discourses that Bhagwan gives, he always says that the true abode of the Lord is within the human heart. And when we read something like Bhagavad Gita, the importance here, and this is what the whole practice is, as Lord Krishna is explaining everything to Arjuna, it's really Arjuna inquiring, okay, what do I need to do to not feel this way? And how do I put it into practice? And he's trying to get that information from the Lord himself. And we're, like Uncle always says, we're so blessed that we also, the Lord is basically telling us and giving us that blueprint, the royal secret to finding that liberation and putting things into practice. I used to always, when I taught, I think I've mentioned this before, when I taught SSE, I used to, we used to talk about different things. I taught group 3 and 4. So it's kind of an age where you start, kids start having conflicts with their parents and, things like that happen. So we talked about the importance of talking to your parents with respect and with patience and things like that. When I tell the kids to do this, it just really solidified for me the importance of putting that into practice because, when you're in a family, there's always dynamics and you sometimes lose your patience a little bit. But it, I think, did me a lot better with my own dad who, he's getting older and kind of having his own journey in life right now. He's in a different chapter. So it's understanding where he's coming from and explaining to him where I'm coming from and being patient. And I learned to do that because I was telling the kids, you have to do this. So then I'm telling you, then I need to do it too. So it's the same thing. We can sort of take the Bhagavad Gita and talk about it, but the key is really putting all of these things into practice. And it's the basic thing is seeing the divine in everything. And when we do that, when you see God in everything, every human you talk to is a form of God. Every animal you see is a form of God. Every building you see is a temple, an abode of God. And you conduct yourself because you know that you also are a temple of God. So you conduct yourself a certain way.
Yeah, that is important. That's why repeatedly Swami is telling whole thing matters is the practice. He said, you don't need a whole river, Godavari river. You just quench your thirst, just a glass of water, right? So like you don't need ocean. Same thing. He gave so many examples. Whole grain of food grains to quench your hunger. Just little bit of the food. And same thing to light a lamp. You don't need all the 700 matchsticks, only one. So everything is to show that most important is practice. Like you are telling, you are respecting your father and taking care. Why? I know that you are a good person, but more importantly, Swami's teachings, it makes you guilty. My God, I read here, I hear, I don't take care of my parents. Don't you think it is bad? So, because of repeatedly doing that, we realize that what is good and we don't. And I was wondering when 30, 40 years ago, I used to Swami every time in a discourse, respect your parents, respect the teacher, respect the elders. Why he goes on saying that? Now I realize that that is the big problem in the world. I heard because my friends used to say, "You don't know what is happening in India." India, when I grew up, you respect always your parents, the elders. You don't even stand. You don't because state you fly to the airport in Puttaparthi and go to to Bangalore and go to Puttaparthi, come back and you don't know what is happening in India. Now, so many people I heard they don't respect the parents, respect the elders. So it used to be here like that, and now all over things. That is why Swami emphasized so much respect. At least in Sai community, I'm finding it more and more people take care of their parents and respect the elders and teachers. So that is very important because everybody one day they will become old. Even the young person becomes so. Young person is a future old person. Old person is a previous young person. So one day these are cycle. So you should remember that is main thing is that is why he says this practice. Swami is emphasizing, and this is a practical knowledge because that is how you live. Finally, coming to the human relationships, Swami says that you need to practice this patience, forbearance, love, compassion. So that is good. You got the lesson. We all need to get that and practice that. That is not easy, but it is important. Some people they sacrifice everything for the sake of their parents, elders, and all that. So you don't need at least take care of them, respect them. That is for your own good. Actually, I remember this earlier. There is one G.V. Subbarao. His father is the one Gandikota Subramanya Shastri. He is the one who gave that Gayatri. We say Sa Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi. It came from him, and that we chant a lot of places. So this son, this Subbarao, he was working in the United Nations in New York. He was making good money. He was and United Nations that time itself. This is 45, 50 years ago. They used to make 5 to 8,000, and this completely tax free because you're a world citizen. You are not citizen of USA or India. Completely, there is a big money for thing. So he was successful. He was in 50s. So suddenly one day his father was in India. Come back to India and take care of your father. He says he was not sure because he's such a top position, New York, United Nations, doing that. But at the same time, he's a good devotee. So he gave up his job. But anyway, he got the pension left the rest of his life. That is $5,000 per month in India is a lot of money those days. So, and he came back, and Swami knows as soon as we came back, and Swami talked to him and said, if you don't take care of your father, you have to bond 7 lifetime to pay off the debt. So that is good Swami gave. So then, soon after he went there, his father, the Brahmins, they sit on the pita, we call it, means little plank of wood, and they sit and they do their pujas in the villages. He's in from Godavari district, so he was sitting and doing puja. Just he slept a little bit, but he was elderly man, 80s. Just he slept and he broke his hip. So that's it. He was disabled. Who was walking before, now he cannot walk. So this man, then he brought him from Godavari district to Prashanti, and this man took care of his father to take him in the wheelchair. Not himself, he had some nice servant because he was wealthy, so hired him and to walk along with his dad. And Swami says, you are paying off your debt through Runam. So every person has a debt to his father, mother, guru, and thing. So we are paying up that. Otherwise, should have born 7 lifetimes. For me, Swami did a favor. My parents were in Prashantilayam. Swami said, take them to America. My God, that's terrible. Because it is the holiest place in the world. Why do you want to send them away? So, because for them, I wanted them to leave their body there in Prashantilayam because there is the people go to Benares, people go to different Punya to leave the body. So it is the best place to die. Actually, my grandmother died. She's like, she didn't plan, my father's mother, but my father and mother, they wanted to stay there. But Swami said, no, take them there. Both of you are doctors. You can take care of them there. Sasta said, Swami, this is the place I am telling you. So, divine command. So, once you tell it, then I realized he did me a favor because I could take care of them for those 10, 15 years. They were here, they lived and they left the body. So, that is the greatest punyam I could get by taking care of the parents, which Swami wanted to confer on me. Otherwise, I had a different opinion, but Swami gave that. So, just very important. So, these subtle things, Swami, how he blesses us, and we should take care and grab those opportunities and take care of that. Otherwise, we just take it granted. Oh, I have parents. Sometimes, as you said, they get older, they could be stubborn, or they could be given. It's not easy, but you need a lot of patience. But that is what it's important for that. Mm. Yeah, Shravan Kumar is the ventures in the Pura. Yeah, But even now, that is in books you read now, even now people who are Swami's devotees, they take care of some of them. They really dedicate. And I know one young doctor, she even quit her job. She went back and took care of her aging parents. Very few people would do. Even when they dying, they will send a greeting or something. But some people, there are still good, lot of dedicated, good children. You want
Yeah.
to say something, Pravina?
I mean, Sairam. So, Swami then for Amma and Nana. So for him, it's okay not for them not to, it's not really in Swami's mind. He has the blessings no matter where they leave their body,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
especially leaving with you and Haimaka, I think, and
yeah.
also favor as a service for you.
Yeah, for me, the blessing is as a service to parents, but which I didn't realize at that time. I thought, why is Swami doing that, just sending away from such a holy place? Because every day they used to have darshan, some blessings and all that. Here, they can't travel like the way, particularly at that age. But the Swami, but they were established. They didn't grumble or anything. Like because it is difficult for people to find who can take care of them. And he's right. They had a lot of medical problems after came here. We were both here, and we have hospitals close by. Swami knows past, present, future. So many times we have to admit them in the hospital, take to the various doctors. So there it is sometimes difficult, challenging. So that way, whatever he does is the best for them. So, but anyway, Swami is omnipresent everywhere. But we always give importance to the Holy Land.
I had a very similar experience, Uncle, to you, because when my mom was very ill, it was kind of the sort of last few months of her life.
So
I
her
was,
mom is a doctor too. We know her. She was a good friend, and she was in New Jersey. She was an obstetrician gynecologist. As mother, Aruna, as her name was, right?
yeah,
Aruna,
yes.
yeah. So my mother, Haima's good friend. And,
Yeah, and she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she, in the last couple of months of her, her physical existence, I was just started training in Houston, just a fellowship there, and she was transferred to MD Anderson Hospital there, just by her choice. But it was nice. It was sort of the last maybe I would say 6 weeks. And so I was there and it worked out perfectly. And I think it was very similar, or Swami, it was really a gift to be able to spend that time with her too. And then, when she was ready, she left her body.
yeah, she was not that old, right? She was 60?
50, almost 58.
50, 58, yeah. So that is where life is temporary. So be good and do good and help all. Yes, yeah. Arvind. Go ahead, Arvind.
Saram, Uncle Saram, everybody. I just have a small incident to share. This is with regard to what was read out, that it is important to even practice one teaching from the Bhagavad Gita. That is the way. It's not about the pages. This is literally related to these pages. Sometime in 2015, in Swami's residence at Yajur Mandir, were found many diaries that Swami maintained. It was very interesting to know that, like how we maintain a personal diary, Swami also had maintained, and there were 4,000 pages of Swami's own handwriting, which is definitely a treasure for all mankind. That is what I assumed, and all of us felt this is the greatest treasure Swami has left behind for whole mankind, because this is the only writing we have after the Vahinis. So, Professor G. Venkatraman, who was heading Radio Sai at that time, he decided to get the whole thing scanned in the best quality and preserve these pages in the Sathya Sai archive. So, we started on that work, and I still to this day have about 30-40 pages of that scanning. I have taken photos of Swami's writing, they're all in Telugu. After that, unfortunately, some of these big shot people who assume they're big shot, they made it a personal collection. They took it off. It's not in the archive, and it was taken away from Radio Sai Global Harmony, and it was made into a personal thing by the current managing trustee. He took it off, and he kept it as his personal property. Still to this day, nobody has any news of what happened to that. But at that point, I was very agitated. I was very angry and upset, and I was saying, Swami, this you cannot allow. All the other atrocities they do, it's okay, but this is meant for the whole world, Swami. This can't be taken away by one individual. This was my agitation, but I was helpless. I didn't know what I could do. That is when that night I had a dream. And in that dream, Swami was sitting in a room on a bed, and the bed was strewn with pages, so many papers. And when I entered the room, I saw Swami was sitting there, and I realized that these are all the handwritten pages of Swami. I don't know if it is exactly those 4,000 pages, but all are handwritten by Swami. I got so excited. I said, Swami. And Swami said, I will teach you how to preserve all of these perfectly. And I became very excited. I said, yes, Swami. Who else better than Swami to teach how to preserve his work, his legacy? And then Swami searched and picked up the most yellowing, brittle page from among all the pages. And I also felt it's a good sample, because that is the worst condition. If that is taught how to preserve, other papers must be easier. And then Swami held it up between both his hands, and suddenly in one action crumpled it. It just became bits and became powder in his hand. And I was shocked. I was saying, Swami, this is not preserving, you're destroying your own work. And then Swami continued to powder it further. It became one small heap in his hand. He held it. He picked it up the way we pick up a pan, in India we eat pan after that. The way we hold it, he held it like that and opened his mouth and pulled inside. Like, even if you think you can stick the pieces back, it's gone. And he started chewing on it. And I was wondering what happened. And then Swami swallowed it. And Swami said, this is the only way you will preserve my legacy. And the dream got over. And when I woke up, in the dream, I was very confused. When I woke up, it was so clear. The same message that Swami, I did not know at that time. It's there in the Gita Vahini, because I have not read Gita Vahini. That's why I'm attending all these sessions. So beautifully, Swami has already said, it's not about the paper. It's not about let people do copyright, let them take my photos, let them do copyright on anything. When you practice even one, that is when I live in you, and that is when my legacy stays in you. And I found that incident so apt with this. And thank you. I did not know that this is there in the Gita Vahini. It was such a wonderful discovery. Sairam.
The Swami says, eat and digest and assimilate. So that is what, otherwise, it is there. That is the difference between bookish knowledge and practical knowledge. Swami wants it to be, otherwise, it will stay in the books. There are many scholars, bookish, but there are practical knowledge. That is the difference between great philosophers versus saints. Like what Sri Ramakrishna again used to say, this philosopher like these eagles on the top, but their eyes are on the filth doubts down. But the saints are like Paramahamsa swans. They differentiate the milk versus the water and differences. They have the discrimination. They practice the teaching. Like all the great people, you can see, like Ramana Maharshi and Sri Ramakrishna, all those people, they were never scholars, but they lived their life. Just looking at their life, you can know what. Actually, I was hearing there's another lady, saint called Jillel Mudla Amma. I don't know how many, there's a place called, Andhra, Bapatla. So just there is near that there is a village where this lady, she never, I don't know whether she went even primary school. So she was considered a very holy woman. I don't know how many of you know her. She is from that. And what all she knows is she used to go on cooking food and serving people, cooking. But she became her teachings with a spontaneous expression of the highest Vedanta. So my father used to quote her. So she never went even to school. But what all, when people come, give food. When people come, give food. That's all. And they used to call her like Annapurna. But some of the simple things she said, like doubts, దేహం ఉండేంత వరకు సందేహం ఉంటుంది. She said, you can't, as long as you have body consciousness, you will have doubts. So your doubts will be gone only when your body consciousness is gone. And another thing she used to say, my mother also, like, ఇష్టం ఉంటే కష్టం ఉండదు. There is another practical. That means if you like something, it's not custom something. Somebody likes movies, watching, gambling in the night. They will be awake throughout the night. It's not custom. You say do the Shivaratri fasting because they don't like it. But we like Shivaratri thing. For that, whatever you like is not difficult. If you don't like, the same thing will be very hard. So these are the great saintly people, simple truth, profound Vedantic truth, because they live the life. It comes out of them. That is, you don't need to go to college to get these truths.